You need to understand where you want to focus on. You can't say I need to go into breeding, I need birds that give me more eggs, I need when I say I need to sell eggs when people don't buy eggs, I need to sell chicks when people don't buy chicks, I need to sell at 1 week. You need to be focused on where do you want to go. Do you want to go for meat? Do you want to go for eggs? Then you select your breed.
Roosters were an essential way of breeding time back in the days, and I believe some people still do. We are still at the 2024 Zimbabwe Agricultural Show, where I am joined by Anesu to tell us more about chickens. Anesu, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You know, Anesu, you're so young, but you are in the chicken business. Tell me, how did you start?
Actually, I started back then around 2016. So I was just doing those normal chickens. There was this government program where they were giving out chickens. So I really liked the type of chickens they were giving, and I really loved chicken from there on.
Mm-hmm. But now your breed, it's unseen. It's I don't know. You need to be the Guinness man. We've never seen such type of breed. How are you breeding those to be as big like that?
Actually, so our main aim is to have about 500 different types of breeds by end of 4 years from now. So we started with 3, now we are on 33. So from those we are maintaining to have high quality genes. So when we like in chicken, like in other animals, like in goats, we have different kind of breeds. Boran, we talk of Brahmas, we talk of dairy cows, limousine, whatever breed that we have. So that's the same thing that we need to get with the chickens. There are a lot of breeds, many of them. So we would want our farm to be a center of the genetics of the chicken business.
Okay, talking about setting up, what are the essential requirements for setting up a backyard chicken coop?
Yeah, so basically what you want, firstly you need a design of where the chickens are going to stay. So the design, first you'd want a house where your birds stay on a place which is more well ventilated. That's number 1. Number 2, you'd want a place where your chickens get enough spacious. That's what you need. Enough, we are talking about maybe 2 to 3 beds per every square meter. So you can stack them even one on top of the other, like another stairs going above. That's our vertical farming, especially on the in our backyard farming where we don't have enough space. You can also invest in vertical farming on one breed on top of the other. You can also, now when you have your structure, you also need to invest in the pure genetics now, because you need to understand your market. Where are you going in your market? Are you targeting the breeders market? Are you targeting the egg market? Are you targeting the meat market? Now when you understand what market you want to consider, now you select the breed that you want. Selection of the breed, now you need to get that breed from a reputable breeder where you know that you are going to get the good genetics. Because for example, not every black chicken is a black Australorp. You need to understand the characteristics of that breed. Then you visit that farmer to see if it meets your requirements. Then when is that, then you can now start to source out your genetics.
You've already answered the one that was supposed to be my next question of how you choose the right type of breed. But then speaking still there, and how do you compare the climate and the breed? How do you balance those?
So basically, Zimbabwe, we are blessed. Our climate in Zimbabwe is not that cold and it's not that hot. It's not that hot. So in terms of all the breeds that we have in the world, they actually suit the Zimbabwean climate. Although as far as we go to areas where they're extremely hot in Zimbabwe, that's when you can say, okay, some of these breeds, I cannot breed them there. But actually on an average, Zimbabwean climate suits almost each and every breed that we have in the whole world.
Speaking of fish, let's talk about their diet. What do you consider the right diet for the hens, and how often should you feed them?
So basically, it depends on the systems that you are using for feeding your chickens. Firstly, when you are free ranging your chickens, like when they're going out looking for their own feed, that means they decide when to rest and when to eat, because when they are tired they rest, when they need to go and feed they go to feed. And when you are feeding them commercially, we're feeding them with feed like a commercial feed, then you need to feed them, maybe we are talking of 2 times a day, early in the morning and in the afternoon. So with that now, then you need to understand that the amount of feed that they eat is equivalent to the amount of feed a normal chicken can even eat. So they can even free range, you can even commercialize them like on an enclosed place. And talking of free ranging, normally people just think free ranging is like a bird is going to look for its own food. But actually free ranging, we are talking that the bird, where it is going to eat, is there something to eat? Because you cannot free range a bird on the bare ground. It needs to get the grass, it needs to get maybe the grasshoppers, the worms. Is there a protein source? We were talking of the worms, the maggots, we are talking of the crabs. Is there a vitamin source? We are talking of these greens. Is there a carbohydrate source? So also these greens can also act as the carbohydrate, because they sometimes produce those seeds, which can act also as a carbohydrate source. So you need to balance. Now when they're free ranging, are they getting their balanced diet in the free ranging? When you're feeding them, when you're mixing your own feed, are you feeding the right quantity? So it's a matter of understanding your feeding program that you want to do.
You know, Anis, every living organism is bound to fall short in terms of health.
Yeah.
So when it comes to hands, what are the other signs of illnesses that you notice in them, and how do you guys prevent them?
So whenever, even in human beings, how do you see that this person is not well? You can see even without the person telling you, you can just see the physical appearance. Yes. So the physical appearance, like you need to have a connection with your birds. You need to understand some birds naturally are not that energetic. So, but the energy, even that small energy, you can see that this is way more than the normal less energy. Even an energetic bird, you see that this used to be energy, but now the energy has gone down. So you need to have a connection with your bird, understand them, how their behavior is. When you are giving them food, how do they respond to when you are giving them food? When you are like walking past by, do they run away? Do they come close to you? You need to understand that. So that's number one. Number two, the physical appearance, as in like the feathers. The feathers tells you more about the chicken. Sometimes when it becomes sick, the feathers become more ruffled. Like it will be like more rough. But we have some chicken that generally have ruffled feathers. Yes, like we have the frizzled above Orpington. Feathers are generally ruffled. But even if they are ruffled, they become more ruffled when it becomes sick. So you need to understand those kind of things. And also the eye. The eye is one of those things that you need to look for when you get into your flock. Get your view across the eyes of every bird. So normally a sick bird, the eyes are too bright, they are too wet. So, or they are like closed, or they are like more blinking. So you have also to have a good eyesight across your chickens. And you have also to be noticing the droppings of your chickens. The color of the droppings. Normally we have white droppings, we have green droppings, we have red droppings, watery droppings. So you need to understand, are these droppings green because of the feed that I'm giving, or it's now a disease? Are the droppings red because of the feed that I'm giving, or they're generally red? So you need to understand, is it because of feed, or is this now a disease? So that's how you need to have a connection with your birds.
So you mentioned feather plucking. How do you guys deal with such issues like feather plucking or pecking? How do you deal with that?
So basically, feather pecking is caused by a lot of things, which is number one, we are talking of overpopulation of your birds. So when, let's talk with if in a one room. When you are two people in a one room, you normally quarrel. But let's assume you have 10 people in a one room. So quarrel, it becomes more. So basically, when you overstock your birds, like when it will be like more of quarreling. So it will be like more pecking. Number two, shortage of feed. So when feed becomes less, then that means you're fighting for feed. So it's survival of the fittest. So the bigger ones will now peck on the smaller one, not the smaller one, but the weaker ones. So the stronger ones will now peck on the weaker ones because they want to fight for feed. Another thing is the quality of feed. So if now you're feeding your chickens with feed with a certain nutrient that is short within your feed, then for example, if your feed is lacking calcium, then your birds will now notice that we have illustrated of calcium, so they would want to look for the calcium in the eggs or in the feathers of other birds. So they will start to pick each other. And then another thing is mixing of ages. Well, you know, when you mix bigger birds to younger birds, obviously the bigger birds will have to pick on the younger birds. And so picking again boredom, when they don't have something to play with, when they don't have maybe you can sometimes put those masaga, the sacks, for them to be just picking on them. They also reduce that. So it depends on the cause. What is causing them to be pecking each other? Is it because of temperature? When the temperature is too high, they become too bored, they start pecking on each other. So you need to understand what is causing them to start pecking on other species.
You know, Anesu, in the future, and I want to hear your birds, and I would love to have that same type in my home.
Right.
Yes, let's talk about breeding, the breeding process. How do you guys go about it?
So when we are talking about breeding, we need to understand which type of, like when we were talking in the first place, I told you that you need to understand, are you going for eggs? Do you want to breed for meat? Which kind of chicken? So you need to understand first the purpose. Then when you now understand that I need to go for breeds that give me more eggs, for breeds that give me more meat, for breeds that are just generally big, for fancy breed, ornamental breeds, you need to understand where you want to focus on. You can't say I need to go into breeding, I need birds that give me more eggs, I need, when I say I need to sell eggs, when people don't buy eggs, I need to sell chicks, when people don't buy chicks, I need to sell it 1 week. You need to be focused on where do you want to go. Do you want to go for meat? Do you want to go for eggs? Then you select your breed. Now, when you have your breed at your place, you need to understand the specific characteristics of that breed. Now, when you know that, okay, this breed is a Brahma, it goes tall, it has feathers on the feet, how does it multiply, what are the physical characteristics, what are the factors that and every species there's genetics. So some do deviate from the normal, so you need to understand these defects. I need to count them off. So breeding now is a matter of art, it's drawing. You need to understand that how do I increase my size of the birds, how, like for example, the hens. Normally when people want to breed for bigger chickens, they go for looking a bigger rooster, but you don't know that the hens are the ones that provide the actual size of the next generation. When you breed with bigger hens, you produce bigger chickens. The rooster, it generally provides the color of the chickens. As much as the color can be mixed, but more color comes from the rooster. So you need to understand now that kind of breeding, that okay, I need to increase this, I need to perfect this, so that now becomes the breeding aspect. You need to understand your breed, but there's a standard breed, a standard like book for each and every breed. So for you to understand that standard book, you need to understand what are the physical characteristics of the bird that I've chosen. How do I maintain that? How do I develop it to be more presentable? Yes.
Now that the breed is here, how do you handle and care for the baby chicks, and how do you introduce them to the existing flock?
Yeah, so when we receive the birds, maybe we're talking let's start from the eggs. Now, when our eggs are laid, we put them in the hatchery within 7 days. When it is too hot, normally it's within 4 days. When we are in winter, then we can give something like 10 days maximum. So within that period, we take our eggs, then we put them in the incubator. So after 21 days, they hatch. Normally it takes between 20 to 22 days, so average is 21. Some start to hatch on the 20th day, some will end even on the 22nd day, so that's average of 21. So when they hatch now, we are now the mothers. It depends on the system that you're using. When the hens are the ones sitting on the eggs, then you don't have to worry. They take care of the chicks. You just have maybe to feed them, or when you're free ranging them, it looks for the feed for the chicks, then that goes on. But when you are now the mother, when you are incubating them artificially, you are now the mother. You have to be giving them food, you have to be giving them water, and even the natural environment, which is the same temperature that the mothers can give them. So we're talking of, you give them a temperature of about 31 to about 30 to 32 degrees Celsius, average of 31. And then when they are growing older, then you'll be reducing the temperature. So at about 4 weeks, when you're in summer, they are good even to move around. When now maybe you don't have that amount of giving them enough temperatures of you don't have the heaters and what, you can even use those charcoal burners, the bauras. Those ones are also good in terms of keeping your chickens. But basically when they are chicks, they need good quality feed. When they grow, you can now start to introduce them to the organic, moving around, or you can even continue with what is available. But when you're talking of backyard now, you can free range in your backyard. You have definitely to feed them around. Some will ask me that can I feed my chickens with only southern vegetables? It's more like, can I survive with southern vegetables? You also need protein. So when you're making your own feed again, or when you're feeding them with when you're mixing your own sadza, you also need to say, where can I get my own nutritional values? That is protein, that is vitamin, that is carbohydrates. You need all those to be providing them. So you can do sunflowers, you can do munga, whatever that you can get, you can give to these chickens. They can survive very well.
So last when we went to your stables, we saw that the chickens were in cages. I'm sure they were really protected, but to further protect them probably from hawks, stray animals or any other predators, I mean, how can we protect your chickens from that?
So basically chickens, they can even detect danger before even us as humans detect that. I've noticed, at my place we have a roof, a bigger roof. Even if those are bigger birds fly over the roof, sometimes you can see just the shadow. They can notice that shadow. So they can notice even at night, even when those cats pass by, even whatever, they can notice that even before. So they can alert you as a farmer that there is danger there. So you can even come close to check your animals, what's happening. Even if a stranger person comes towards your birds, because you know what, birds can identify up to 100 faces. So that means sometimes they can identify up to 100 structures. That means when you go to people who are keeping like broilers and layers, they have uniform. That you must wear a certain uniform for you to enter into that. So why are they doing that? To avoid the stress, because they know the uniform per se. So when they know the uniform, even if a new person comes, they will say, okay, we know this person because of the uniform. So when you change the color of when you just go randomly with any, that's an alert. So to them, they can panic, they can reduce in terms of the laying rate, they can reduce, they can be stressed. So that's another thing so they can identify faces. So when they identify faces, now when a stranger comes, they can actually identify this is a stranger, and they can even make noise. So when that noise comes, as a stockman person, you need to be communicating with your birds. They can even alert you when they are cold. They can tell you we're feeling cold when it's hot. They can actually communicate. So we need to understand that communication.
Well, let me interject you when you mentioned the word stress. I learned that when we saw cattle, they said they have heat stress.
Yes.
In chickens, what kind of stress do they experience, and how do you guys prepare?
Like for example, we have some chickens that we call zebras. Zebras generally are active birds, but when you go to our stand today, like from Monday up to now, they are more calm. They are like shocked to what's happening around us. So that's kind of stress that they'll be surprised, they'll be like worried. That's a lot of like confusion. Heat again, it affects them because when it is heat, they actually like to produce more of is the body. When it is cold, it produces heat itself. When it is too much, like when it is hot, especially chickens are affected more by heat because they don't have sweating glands. So they struggle much to fight against heat. So the process of fighting when the body tries to fight against that heat, that's the stress that is getting. Like when you travel even on long distances, sometimes you'll be just sitting, but you get stressed, tired. So that's the same stress these kind of animals actually get when they also face like heat, when they also face like coldness. When like you are not used to many people, you can just feel like stressed. How can I talk to this person? That anxiety that comes. So that's the stress even those chickens can get.
So actually, when we talk about repurposing chicken waste, what are some of the creative ways you guys come up with? Probably in terms of manure, eggshells.
Okay, so waste is waste until it is wasted. So normally there are a lot of ways that you can utilize this. For example, the waste from chickens, you can use them to do biogas. That is for lighting and cooking, that is energy. You can use them to make fertilizer. We have what you call vermicomposting, whereby you can degrade it with the worms to produce a good organic fertilizer. You can also use them that we call soup fertilizer. This one now, you can soak your manure in water for about 24 to 48 hours. Then you take that soup, the water, then you spray it to your crops. It's now good nitrogen fertilizer. And then on the feathers are also good because you can also start to feed to the feathers. You can even decorate your house because there's some beautiful chickens out there that they have good feathering. And then you can also start with the waste. You can also produce maggots from the flies. We do the black soldier fly. With that again, you can now be able to produce feed for your chickens again, for your pigs, for your rabbits, everything that can do. So waste can be waste when you waste it.
So Anesu, I realize you are in promoting agricultural development and education, and you are in the chicken production. How is it of significance to the agricultural show?
The agricultural show is one sector where I would say it's a must visit every year, because in every year, like sometimes I could say I know chickens, but when I come this side, I would definitely know that I need to learn, because it's a learning phase whereby you see new things, new development, new breeds that are coming out. When you visit like stands, you definitely have to ask, you get the information that you think like, when people come to our stand, they'll be like, do these chickens really exist? They'll be like used maybe to smaller chickens. In terms of even color of the chickens, people will be shocked. Can I get a chickens like one of them that Makai drawer? Is this that a drawing? Have you drawn these feathers? Because it's something that is impressive. So we learn every day, and this show, it brings all farmers together. It brings unity that even anyone, you can get all the information at one central point. So I would say it's one whereby information you can gather it like in one room.
I know you're probably Ahmad 2K, but I'm going to ask you, how does the agricultural show contribute to the preservation of rural traditions?
Talking about that, you discover that a lot of I once asked this young child that where do we get like chickens from? I said from the butchery. You see, because people would want to understand where do we get these kind of things. They normally know meat in the plate, but where it comes from, how do you feed it? Sometimes we even take, when they come, we take the feed. Can you feed it? We train them. Can you try to feed it? They'll be scared. So that kind of a thing would sometimes want to say, okay, come guys. They know the goat from the book. They know the cows from the book. They actually don't even have seen it. Even how do they crawl? Like we are seeing the background, though they actually know that a chicken just get in the plate. So that kind of interaction, it gives them exposure to understand that where are we getting our food? Where are we getting even our wool, our clothes? They come from, sometimes from these sheep, from the animals. So they need to understand where are these things coming from. So the agricultural show, it gives them the potential to understand the source or the background of the understanding. Sometimes when they go to their schools, it becomes them easier to even to applicate some of the questions, because they've seen the things on the ground. So it becomes it easier for them even to respond to application questions.
I see you're here at the 2024 agricultural show as a producer.
Yes.
How is the agricultural show giving producers a platform to showcase their products and innovations?
Like I said, the agricultural show is you get all the information in one room. So as a producer, like we are doing chickens, we have others who process chickens, we have others who like incubate the eggs. So it gives even producers it's number one, we have producer to producer business. Like for example, normally in the first few days of the show, it's more like a producer to producer, because there will be less movement of people who are coming in. So it's more like when I'm into chickens, I need to visit who are into feed to say, guys, how are you? What's the most unique aspect of your feed? You know, I need to visit those who are doing incubation. I need to feed those who are into processing, so that guys, I can supply you this. So it's a supply. So the producers can benefit that kind of interaction. Number two, there are people out there that will say, okay, they don't even know how to start any business. So it's also another way, like when there is a show, they need to come to say, okay, this is like, now I need to be innovative in another way. Like I need to start my own business. Now they can come to the show to say, okay, this person is doing goats, this person doing chickens. How can I start this business? So you get another. So as producers now, we get to sell ourselves out there, because we have a lot of people coming in. Trust me, when we are recording the information of people who are coming at our stand, you end up losing count, because it's good platform for the producers out there to come and exhibit their products, because you get a bigger clientele. Sometimes you can even take their contacts. You start to give them product knowledge, so that they can be your next customers in the near future. So the agriculture show, it gives the producers the ability to showcase their products to the next customer, even for some who didn't know. Like we have a lot of people who come that I didn't know, can I now book? Some people have started booking for these chickens, because it's something they didn't know exist. So it's good for those who want to come and exhibit.
You had started to mention some of the benefits of participating in agricultural shows. I'm sure you can still extend. What are the benefits to farmers, rural communities and producers of participating in agricultural shows?
So when farmers out there comes to participate in the agriculture, like I said, it's an interaction between the presenters themselves or the farmers themselves who do come. Like when I come with my chickens, I notice, okay, this farmer is this breed, then I need it. I learn from them, they learn from us. It's a two-way way. And then again, you learn new innovations. And then again, you can even come as an outsider. You can even come and start learning the platform. You can get new clients. You can get new technology. Like we are now living in a digital world. So you can even understand, guys, I'm having a challenge on marketing. How are you marketing it? You get even knowledge from others. How are they doing their business? So the agricultural show, like, it's a one-stop shop for farmers, for producers to say, guys, come, you learn from others, we learn from you learn from us. Even if you are just a farmer, you don't have something to exhibit, or some farmers would say, what can I go and exhibit? You might think that you don't have something to exhibit, but you have something. Even those village chickens, they can come to the show. Some people don't even know those village chickens, and even some people don't even want these bigger chickens, they want the village chickens. So it's a platform whereby everyone can come and learn and gain something. You never come to the agricultural show and just go blank. You get fully handled.
Okay, in my last but not least question, Anesu, how can agricultural shows adapt to changing times and trends in agriculture, such as digitalization and climate changes?
So in terms of let's talk first on digital. Like I said before, that we are living in a digital world. We should appreciate that we are not going. So I would say we have to be utilizing these platforms. People will be like, it's the WhatsApp, it's the Facebook, but when you're at your home and you'll be like feeling like, where can I get chickens? The first place, you don't know anyone who's doing chickens. So where do you go? You go to the internet, you go to Facebook, you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram. So that's also a platform where everyone into marketing, you should appreciate that. And even everyone who is into searching of these things, that's where we go. So the digital world, we are going there. And as producers also, we should produce enough information for the researchers. Like for example, when you are now presenting also your information on the digital world, it should be clear and easy to understand for those out there who need to grasp your concept. Like you don't need, like when someone read your context, they'll be like, okay, so where can I find them? Like, so how can I contact them? All the information should be provided. So I would say as exhibitors, as producers, you should invest more in the digital world, because that's where the world is going. Because sometimes I even think about myself that we used to have like taxi driver, where are you? Then you'll be like far away, and now you'll be like, so how can I? But now we have a lot of Ubers.
They just come.
They just come.
They're just there.
Yes. So that is the world that we are moving. We are moving in a world whereby technology is taking into. Yes. And then in terms of global change, we really need to take environment a serious thing. Like I recently said, waste is waste until it is wasted. So first we need to take off how we utilize waste. When you go around the agriculture, so I've seen some who are into waste management. I've seen like so you need to understand that everything that we produce, we need to have especially in agriculture, most of the waste that we get comes from the agricultural sector, because it's one of that sector which is big. So if we dump more waste, that means we are going to affect our environment. So there should be enough room to help people out there, even the people in the agriculture, say, guys, how can we improve our waste? How can we manage waste? How can we produce waste to something that is beneficial to the environment? Because the environment, naturally, we cannot improve the environment, but we can maintain it. Because when it is wasted, it's hard to regenerate or to regrow the environment. But wasting environment, in a year we can lose a lot of soil, but to regenerate it comes in ages.
What's that statement you said again about waste?
Waste is waste until it is wasted.
So we don't want to waste our time and before we waste it. I wish I could create something from that. But it has been a great pleasure talking to you and getting all this information. I'm sure many people out there really wanted to know a lot about farming, and they have learned a lot from what you were saying today, and we are grateful for what you've been saying, and I hope to come for more information to hear from you.
Thank you
so much, Anesi.
Thank you.